thanks for coming here. So we are going to start shortly, and I will try to be as quick as a treadmill, this talk. So before I start, how many people have treadmills in their houses? You rich people. Rich people. How many people have used treadmill in the last year? Wow, a lot of people. That's not me. So I'm not going to tell you how to use a treadmill. If you are here to become fit, you can just look at me and realize that I'm not fit. So I'm not going to tell you how to use a treadmill. But what I'm going to show you is what else you can do with your treadmill. So that's a good thing. So who am I? I'm Soroush. I work at MDSec as a research/pen tester, web app tester, basically, if you want to call it web app security ninja and pen tester. And so I build tools as well. Mostly I build tools to break other people's tools because I am a tool, as they call it. I am calling myself a tired, lazy bug bounty hunter, and the reason for this is like, for automation, you have to put a lot of efforts there, and I just like to use Burp Suite manually, and I find no bugs, and that's why I'm like, I should call myself a retired bug bounty hunter. That is because I'm not earning any money from it. So that's fine. And I have lots of t-shirts from different security conferences, as many of you have. And because of the lockdown, I did not receive a lot of t-shirts in the past 2 years. So most of them have holes in them. That's why I call them holy t-shirts. And so the guy over there is Peter Wintersmith. If you're disturbed by that, basically, Pitmojis, just close your eyes. But I really like it, so I'm going to use Pitmojis in all my slides. This is what we use in MDSec as well to basically express ourselves. So I thought maybe I should give you basically a feel of like what I'm going to talk about and what the slides are about using his face. So what am I doing with Treadmill? I'm a web app tester, and I don't like gym or anything. What am I doing with it? So lockdown happened, COVID came, and everybody was like, mental health matters. You should go for, I don't know, do stuff with yourself, because you can't go out and walk. Like, I normally work remotely, and I sit in front of my computer all the day, and I don't do much. But when lockdown happened and they said you can't go out of your house, I was really, really upset about it. I was like, I want to go out. Now that you are removing this option, I want to go out. So I was like, I need to be fit. I know I was unfit before COVID, but I'm like, COVID, maybe I should get fit. Maybe that's good for me. So, and everybody was buying this treadmill, you know, everybody was like after toilet papers and treadmills and things like that. So I was like, probably need to get one because it's going to be very valuable in the future. The price is going to go up. I'm going to get rich, and at the same time, I'm going to get fit. So that's the challenge. The only problem was I couldn't find any treadmills online. So any good treadmills, I would say. I found one in Amazon. I bought it, like it had a discount, and it broke on the first day when I fell on it. And I was like, why did I fall? Why did I fall on it? It was like the shortest story was like I was not running. I was just walking on it, trying to see how robust it is. I was like, it broke. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to use this. So I returned it. I mean, I sent for a collection, and they came and got it. And I was like, I need a better treadmill. I need something. So yeah, I went shopping, and shopping therapy helps, like working out and looking for treadmills all the day online and pretending that you're busy. Good. Yeah, and basically excuses to just buy it. So what kind of treadmill should you choose when you want to buy a treadmill? The treadmill, first of all, should be a good brand because you want to show it off to your friends. You don't just buy any treadmills and put it in your house and just like, you don't just buy a very cheap Amazon basic treadmill and put it in your house and you want to show it when you want to show off. You just want to tell everybody that you have a treadmill. So yeah, it needs to be stylish. It needs to go with your furniture. You want a treadmill that you can put next to your sofa and next to your bed or whatever, wherever you have a space for. Like, for me, I only have a space in my study room behind my computer. So I was like, yeah, this is a good place. I need a stylish treadmill, and my treadmill needed to be connected to the internet. And the reason for that was because I wanted to watch movies while I'm on it, because I will get bored. I'm like, if I wasn't, maybe the reason I did never use gym or treadmills in the gym and things like that was because I was bored. Maybe if I watch movies when I'm basically running or walking on a treadmill, it will help. I was like, I need Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and things like that. So I went online and looked for it. Yeah. And also, I was like, the treadmill needs to hold my food, because if a treadmill can't hold food, I'm like, what kind of treadmill is that? Like, I want to eat my McDonald's with my Coke next to it when I'm on a treadmill. Because let's face it, mental health matters. And, yeah, so, you know, you guys are cool, but if you want to be cooler on the treadmill, you need a fan. The treadmill needs to have a fan. The fan shouldn't be noisy, because then you can't hear the movie. But yeah, I mean, it needs to have a fan. And then some other features, like it needs to run and work and stuff. So I was like, recently I actually used this as well. At the time it wasn't available. I was like, what does an AI think about a treadmill that has all these features? So I'm going to ask Crayon, I mean, the Dalili, the next version of Dalili, to basically give me the photo. And it gave me the photo, and guess what? It actually, one of these photos is actually my treadmill. So I was right. I was like, I'm exactly in love with this AI, because it thinks like me. And look at that guy with the pizza on a treadmill. That's not me, because that guy is running. I walk. So I introduce you to this fancy Reebok treadmill. Very expensive. It currently has an offer in Argos, I think. And I got it from Argos because it wasn't available anywhere in the internet. And Argos normally sells treadmills very expensively. If you find it somewhere else, it will be cheaper. But it had good reviews. Everybody was happy about it. And guess what? It had Netflix, so I bought it. And I was like, I'm gonna use it. How hard can it be? It's like a treadmill. I just use my natural instincts. I mean, I use my natural instincts all the time in my life. This happened. So I was like, this is a treadmill. I'll just go on and I'll run and I will watch movies and that's it. So I bought expensive shoes and clothes and everything that goes with a treadmill, because, you know, you can't just use your normal shoes on a treadmill, especially a treadmill that is in the house. I'm like, hygiene matters as well. It's COVID time. So I need to have my own pair of shoes for a treadmill, clothes for the treadmill, something to dry my face when I'm on a treadmill, if I'm on a treadmill. And guess what? I got all those. Yes, shopping therapy. And then during a year, I realized that I only used my treadmill once. But it was stylish. But I needed to do something about it. I was like, I need to motivate myself, or I need to find out how I can use my treadmill. So I'm going to represent you some other ways of using a treadmill to actually make a treadmill useful. So I started using it as a bed. I was like, a treadmill can be good. Maybe if I sleep on it, look at my fancy shoes over there and stuff. And I was like, if I sleep on it, then it's good for working from home, especially because it's just behind my computer, my desk, and I can just sleep there. But then it wasn't comfy enough, and it was short. Like, I was like, ooh, I have to sleep like this. No, didn't like it. I was like, I will use it like a den. Just sit there and think about the future and drink my coffee. But then I couldn't use my laptop there in the den. So, no. And then I was like, it can be a cave. We can play hide and seek with my daughter. And, yeah, it was good first, but then she realized that I'm always hiding there. So, no, that wasn't good anymore. So I used it like a storage. I was like, I will put my boxes on it. So every time I want anything, they're just behind me. I'll just put my hands in and get the cable out. They're mostly full of rubbish and cables and old freebies from conferences when I used to go. And some IoT stuff, yeah. But then the problem was I couldn't access these boxes. So yeah, they're underneath and it was difficult to move them. And I'm tired. I'm like, this is not the way. And then I was like, it can be a coat hanger. I can just put my clothes on it. My room is going to get tidier. It's going to be good. We have a winner, guys. We have a winner. The only problem at this point was it was just too expensive to be a coat hanger. So we need to resolve that issue. We will see how I resolve that issue. So now, from now on, we are just going to see what's going to happen. But then I'm in the path to motivate myself, so I need to find something. And I was like, I will just watch movies on it, and then Netflix started crashing on the damn treadmill. I was like, this is not the way. I just wanted to use this treadmill for once. And then I realized it doesn't have Disney Plus for me to watch Frozen, the Marvels and stuff. And yeah, so I was like, I need to do something on it, and I can't update it. Where is this update button? And it was very laggy when I was tapping on the treadmill. It was just not doing the stuff I wanted to do. So the lag looked like Android. Sorry guys that you have Android, but yeah, Android most of the times becomes slow after some time. It reminded me of my HTC phone, like when I was like dragging and didn't work, and then suddenly everything happened, and I was like, yeah, that's weird. So I was like, I need to find this update button in the menu. So I went there and checked all the menus, especially the apps and movies. And I never clicked on these, to be honest. I don't know what they do. But I normally just click on these, tap on these, and there is a button there, start. And I press that start button, and then it has like these buttons on the handles. So I don't need to use these. I don't know what they do. They're probably good. But then I found this menu here, other settings. And I was like, oh, that's it. I'll just update it. How hard can it be? I will install Disney Plus on it too. And then it said, no password. And then it said, input your password. I had no password. I was like, for the first time ever, I need to look at the manual. So I was like, okay, at this point, I need to look at the manual. I looked at the manual, password wasn't there. Not even a mention of this menu anywhere. So I was like, well, go online, default password, how hard can it be? So I searched online over and over, and everybody was looking at it, and everybody was looking for this password. Nobody had the password. I was like, okay, they don't have the password here. They don't have the password in the reviews. And I was like, oh, I need this password. At this time, I was motivated. This is how I became motivated. I was like, something has a password, and I don't have it, and I need to have it. So I was like, how hard can it be? It has Google Chrome. I'm a web tester. I know web. I know Google Chrome, so I can just use it. So I went to Google Chrome. I started going through the directories of Android. I realized it's Android actually at that time. And then I was like, I will just perform an environment breakout. So normally in an environment breakout, you have like a kiosk or something, for example, in the airport that tells you to pay money. You don't want to pay money, or you want to pay less money and you still want to use it, or you want to get a shell on it. It's an ATM bank. Not talking about it. So you want to do a breakout. So you basically use the tools that you have. And because Google Chrome was there, I was like, this is the easiest tool I can use. It even had a USB drive. I could browse to the USB drive, put files on it, and execute them probably. I never tried that because copying a file in the USB, and I'm not that motivated yet. So I was like, I just use this browser to break out. So what I did was I basically went to the Google Play, and I was like, okay, now I want to install the SSH server on it. And then this appeared here, opening Play Store app. And guess what? I tapped on it and Play Store opened. Well, I could just go here and tap on that and say about, and that would have appeared as well. But I didn't know that at the time. I basically didn't try it. But then I went there and installed SSH server, and I was like, okay, now I can find the password. Maybe if I SSH into the box and see what it has, I can basically get a password out of it. So the only thing I needed to do was to create a Google account there for the Treadmill and to install it. After it was installed, I was like, okay, I need to get root. So I typed su, and I became root. It was a pre-rooted device. So I tried, like, think about it. The Treadmill, hard work, but so far, it's been easy. So easy. You just go there, you basically type, you install the app. It's like playing with your mobile phone, and then you get shell access to the box, and then you're root, and you see stuff around. You can control the treadmill. You can immediately stop it. You can start it on speed 20 or something. And then I had the APK file for actually the app that was running on the treadmill. It was an Android device, so I looked at the APK file and I decompiled it, and the password was there. I was like, I got it. I got the password. I can just log into the menu. And I searched basically the password with the treadmill. Nothing appeared in Google or Baidu. I really tried to type this. I'm good. And no, I just used translator. And then I logged in, and this was the menu. So I was like, oh, Android setting, app information, treadmill information. And guess what? It was only good for when you wanted to basically service the treadmill. The Android was old. The Android version was 5.11. I couldn't upgrade it. I couldn't do anything with it. It didn't have, it was up to date, basically, I would say. And that menu was only good if you wanted to basically change the oil or force the treadmill to do something and things like that. I was like, I'm not interested, but I'm interested to read that app. Now that I'm there, I just want to see more. I want to see what else it is doing. Does it communicate with any servers? Can I basically ask the server to update me? And then basically I found out that actually it communicates with the server with an IP address and a port number over HTTP and not even HTTPS. And from now on, I'm going to call this the control server. I was like, okay. So from now on, it's a web application assessment. And then I was like, back in front of my PC rather than on the treadmill. So it was good. So I was like, I need to look at this, see what it does. I have no idea what it does. And then look at that. It actually, it sends something to the a bash file, and then it has like a Reebok version, something. Okay, Shell. Shell is very good. I like Shell. And I went there, and basically servers in China, there is no surprise in that. So I kind of like could guess that. Directory listing was enabled on all the folders. I was gutted that I didn't have any admin interface and everything was accessible to me, and I didn't need to bypass anything. It was surprisingly, it was a Windows box. It was a Windows box running Linux commands. I like that idea because I was like, what is this? And then APK were downloaded from the server, not from the Google Play Store, unencrypted from that server. And basically, I realized that if I control this server, I control all the treadmills that are the same brand around the world. And I will be god of the treadmill. And then I can tell people what to do with the treadmill, like, especially if Boris Johnson is on it, I can just say, go faster! You fat. Just like me. But for me, I will be just like, no. So, yeah. So what was that in that, on the server? So I'm just showing you one of these folders, for example. And, I've tried to hide the file names because obviously you don't need them. There was this folder CGI-bin. For those who know about it, like normally they put stuff that they want to run and execute or important stuff in that folder, and you shouldn't have access to it. But I had access to it. These bash files here, the bash files over there, whenever I was calling them, they were not giving me the source code. They were being executed on the server. I was like, fascinating. If I can write a file in that folder, I get remote code execution immediately on the server. So that was good. And then I found, like, what are these text files and DB files? And I was like, what is that? What's happening here? So I pulled out one of these text files. Basically, Reebok statistics. Yes, I found my MAC address there, my IP address there, the time that I used my treadmill, and stuff. And there were some files with actual physical location of people. I don't know what device it was. It was another brand. But this basically server was a controller for many treadmills. It wasn't just for this Reebok. I still don't know what they are. Somewhere in the world. But it had like information of all the users, not with their personal names, but just physical location and IP address and MAC address and stuff like that. And I could probably locate something, maybe if I wanted, in number 10. But no, I didn't. Number 10 Downing Street? No, I never did that. I did not look for it. But basically, at this point, I was like, okay, I never gave this application my consent to collect my information. I never gave this application anything to say, I'm happy for you to be connected to your server. I don't want it to be connected to its server and collect my information because who knows, maybe it's collecting something else somewhere else. Actually, at that point, I was like, I need to read the source code. I looked around and I realized that no, this is the way that it actually log data in that folder. So there are other files there as well, and DB file, database files, and it was logging everything in all those. And this is the way it was basically sending to the server. It was sending the stats in some parameters in the URL, and then I was like, what would happen if I mess with these parameters? So I basically put foobar in them and send it to the server, and it created this foo.bar underscore statistics.txt on the server. It's like fascinating. So I have file right on that folder. I just need to create a bash file to have my command execution on the server and prove the point that the server is insecure, and I need to block it on my router. Yeah, that was the only point. I just wanted to know if I need to block it or not, you know. And then I was like, okay, I will use NTFS alternate data stream. I added these colon characters after this foobar. When it creates the file, instead of creating foobar, foo.bar underscore statistics, just creates foo.bar on the server. So at this point, I could just create foo.sh on the server. Content was empty, but that was fine because it was a Windows server. I could probably just use short names or some tricks like that, and then come up with some way of putting stats in the file. So that wouldn't be hard. But still, I needed to try a lot harder than I should have. So I was like, this is a bash file here. It's a shell. It's something. So what would happen if I do a classic command injection first before trying to do anything with the file? So I did this. Like I used this backtick here and a backtick there, a backtick here and a backtick there. Not like that. And then, yeah, it actually executed the command on the server. I was like, remote code execution. I got you. Now I need to block this server. But wait. It was vulnerable to shell shock because it was bash and it was shell. It was on Windows. And I was like, wow, we are in 2000 and, I don't know, at that month, 21. At December, look. I had so much Christmas spirit at that time. So, I was like, okay, I will just exploit this and I will move on with my Christmas stuff. So I exploited it and it worked. And I was like, this server is so insecure, I can control everything. But then I was like, okay, let's get the information of this server because I need to know what this server is. Fascinating. And so I got the system information. It was Windows 7. So basically, the server was a Windows 7 running Linux commands. I was like, this is so good. This is like dream come true. And it was outdated and everything. But my commands were running as system, so it didn't matter. And then I realized that they have like this Sigwin installed on the server. Found you. How you run basically shell and stuff, and you understand ls and all those sort of things, Linuxy things. And then I looked at the web server, and the web server was like this light HTTP 1.4.49. And the last time it was updated, it was basically 2011. And that's why basically it was vulnerable to everything, because they never updated it. That's why it's still vulnerable to shell shock if someone used this on Windows. And they never updated another version of it for Windows. And the guys were just like, yeah, we have a Windows 7, but I'm only good with Linux. Let's just install this on Windows and then make it look like Linux, but it's actually Windows. So yeah, that's why it happened. And then I realized that there are other things on that server. FTP was there, very outdated, vulnerable to a lot of things. I did not exploit them because I didn't need to anymore. And then there was this outdated application for customer service. If someone can read it, probably it says customer service somewhere. I didn't try to break this because at this point I was like, I wasn't sure if I am basically on that control server or not. If you may ask later, did I have permission to do all these things? They had bug bounty program. I mean, Adidas had bug bounty program. Reebok is part of Adidas. So I was like, if I do this, I may be able to basically get bounty. But because this wasn't part of Adidas from my point of view, I was like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to tell them this is too old. Last update 2012. I was like, any more things on the treadmill before I block the IP address? Oh yeah. So there were more files on that server disclosing sensitive data, all sort of things. And there were some pre-installed hidden Chinese apps on the Treadmill as well. Like I was just looking at the apps that were installed on the Android device on the Treadmill. There were some Chinese apps that I never knew what they are, but probably useful. But then I installed them. I was like, I don't want this. I uninstalled them. And you know what? Whenever you update it, they actually install all of them back. So I blocked the IP address of the router. And I was like, at this point, I just use my Treadmill like a normal human being. But before that, I need to report the vulnerabilities. I need to report them to Adidas. So Adidas also has this T19X Treadmill. The interface is exactly the same as this. So basically, it runs the same operating system. And I found it out because the stats file in the server, and I could basically get all the information out of it. Obviously, Adidas has a private bug bounty program. I knew about it. Guess what? I wasn't part of it. I used these vulnerabilities as like, please invite me to your program because I'm good. See? I will report I actually reported all of them via email to Adidas. And I was like, I'm using this Treadmill. I want it to be secure, but it's like a backdoor in my house. And I'm not part of your bug bounty program. Please. And then they basically said, we will invite you to our bug bounty program. Then I had lots of problems to be invited to that bug bounty programs. It took them a month to basically invite me properly. First, they invited me to something for, I think it was for Log4j, some sort of things. They made a mistake there. But guess what? Because it was during the Christmas time, everybody was like, we just want to go on holiday. We don't want to do this. And that's why I wasn't really fussed. So that time it was good. But then in the end of the day, they fixed all those bugs and misconfigurations. They actually used a proper Linux box in the end, Nginx. Everything was fine. So that was good. And they gave me $4,000 for basically all those bugs that were reported. And guess what? The Treadmill was less than $4,000. And that means the Treadmill is now free and I can use it like a hanger. That solved the problem. So the problem solved, and I don't need to run on the Treadmill anymore. I mean, I need to run on the Treadmill, obviously, but I have no shame in not running on the Treadmill or using it in a different way or stand on it and pretend that I can't reach stuff. Yeah, it's like that. It's good. And what was the patch? Like the patch was like most of the patch were applied on the server. So not much on the client side. But the things that came to the client side, and they closed all those directory listing, and they probably renamed their stats file, and I can't access them anymore. Probably they are still on the server somewhere. But then the patch was okay, but not complete in some senses. Like, for example, they used HTTPS rather than HTTP, and they actually using a domain name rather than an IP address now. But then they have things like this every now and then. No check certificate. I mean, what's the point? If you're using HTTPS, don't just have that. That doesn't make any sense. So I'm still I wanted to block them, but I wish that they would have put Disney Plus there. So I still haven't, I blocked them initially, but then after the patch, I wanted to see the patch, and then they still don't have Disney Plus. Right? May need to block it, and then when they say we have Disney Plus, I may unblock them. So, yeah, and then there were other patches as well. So, this patch, for example, if something fails there, it will use the APK on the server. So, before that, it just used the proper public servers to get the APK files rather than their own dodgy server. But then, if it fails, then it goes back and check the hash of the file, MD5 hash and things like that. But then again, it's not that difficult to basically do like hash collision these days for MD5 and stuff if you can intercept the network traffic. So you can exploit it. And still, my problem is that this server can still control me. So the other thing was like, I found this HTTP. I was like, ooh, they haven't patched something. Maybe they're still collecting my data. Bounty. But no. So look at that. I was like, post request, file upload and everything. I need to see what they're doing with my face. I opened it, and it says website. This was in Chinese. I've translated it. The website has not been filled in accordance with relevant laws. This was the first time I felt Chinese governments are actually behind me. They're actually saving me. They are helping me. So that was the first time, as someone who lives in this country, felt safe about Chinese governments. So thank you. Thank you for blocking it, so I don't need to block it myself. It was good. So, that was good. So what has changed? So on the client side of the Treadmill, nothing has changed that much. So you still can do the breakout. You can still install the apps that you want. You can still install your SSH. You can still get the root. You can still do whatever you want. And if the server is still vulnerable, I mean, I said I'm a lazy, or not lazy, tired bug bounty hunter. So I never really, other than those bugs that I reported, I never went back and test the web server properly after that to see if everything else is okay. It was just like, you have patched all the issues I've reported, and that's it. Classic retest. The payloads I've reported are not working anymore. Yeah. Yeah, so I feel a little bit safer with the server, but I still think that the IP address needs to be blocked if you're paranoid. And so, yeah, and if someone take over the control server, they can still compromise all these treadmills. So that still is a bad thing. And workaround for paranoids, if you're paranoid about all these Internet of Things, don't buy them. Just go to a normal gym like a normal human being, right? Don't pretend that you're rich and buy a treadmill that is stylish. There is no shame in that, though. I've done it. So, but then again, everything that we are buying these days can be connected to the internet. Think if you really can afford a compromise or being controlled or something like that. Like, I have tried to put everything in a separate network when it comes to Internet of Things. And so I'm just like, if someone hacks a treadmill and take control of it, guess what they can do? They can run it. And it's going to be behind me and nobody's on it. So I'm safe because I'm not on the treadmill and nobody else is. So that's good for me. And if someone even hacks other devices that are connected to the same network, I have no problem. They can change the lights to pink. It doesn't have brown, by the way. Have you tried your lights? It doesn't have brown. You can't make it brown. Anyway. So yeah, but the sound quality of these treadmills is not that good either, because when you're running, the sound, it goes like, so you probably need to just use your mobile phone in front of it. This is what I do now, because I want to watch Disney Plus. I just put my mobile phone in front of the screen, and I just use my mobile phone. I was like, I could have just gone with a simpler treadmill, probably, maybe, should have, saved a lot of money, but then I wouldn't have found this bounty and would have earned more money. So no, I am not regretting this. It was actually a good experience from my point of view. And it's stylish, and nobody can move it because I think it's more than 100 kilos or something like that, 150 kilos. So it's just it's just, if someone like a burglar comes to my house, that's gonna stay there. So it's an asset. So it's good. I have it. It's good. And don't trust any smart devices, not even your mobile phones. Obviously, we know that. And yeah, so that was it. And thank you very much for coming here. And a little bit of advertisement up there. So we are hiring at MDSEC as well. So I've been told to say that. You can contact that email address. We're not going to give you any treadmill. We have other things to give you, but not a treadmill. Not especially that treadmill. When I saw that photo of the treadmill online, I was like, why didn't I buy this one? That looks good. Can just look like that, just running like a proper person outside running. And yeah, so but it wasn't available. I think it has just come out, and they are super expensive. Couldn't afford that. But maybe next time you want to buy a treadmill like that, see if they have bug bounty program first. Because if they have bug bounty program, you may be able to get the money back if you hack it. But don't break it, because if you break that thing, it's just going to be dark all the way. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you can stick stickers on it, but it wouldn't be as good. So probably don't break something that doesn't even have a cup holder or the food holder, beverage holder, and or mobile holder or whatever. Yeah, so thank you very much for listening and coming to this talk. And so if you have any questions, I'm here to answer. Any questions? Anyone needs a fitness guide? How to run on treadmill 101? No? Good. Thank you. Oh, you have a question? Okay. So basically, the error messages. The error messages that you get back when you basically deal with the web server. So it was like giving me some error messages like, this is Windows, and then how can this be a Windows at the same time be running like Linux commands? So error messages basically, yeah. Sorry?
Apologies if you said this already and I missed it.
That's all right.
Once you've got the SSH daemon installed, how do you get the benefits to log on to it in the first place?
So basically, this SSH server, if you install SSH server on any Android device, if you know the IP address, if you're in the same network, then you can just SSH. It gives you username and password, like you can create your username and password in the app and open a port, and you connect to it. You will have a very low privilege user when you do that, as like you are the app. And then if you can escalate your privilege, obviously you can get more access. If you can make the device to become in debug mode or make it root, then yeah, you can do stuff.